Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an M53 M55, the Tier 9 American SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Kharkov and it's under the command of Lomian EU. Now he's trying to complete SPG 14 for the Object 260, so he's got to do a certain amount of damage, and that means he's got to get a lot of damage actually. It's named Bombshell on the side, and well, let's see how Lomian gets on in this game. Now, as you know, Lomian does stream, so if you want to follow him, I'll leave a link to his stream and you can give him a follow. In fact, it's quite funny watching him when he plays, because he is giggling and laughing away when he gets good hits on the enemy, and sometimes he's actually shared some of these very good shots with us on What Arty Noobs, including some direct hits on EBRs which see them go flying through the air in a death spiral. Well, that M103 went through the field of fire, but his first shot actually hits a 50 TP just in front of him, actually lands, and well, he gets 205 hit points from a near miss. Just changed his position slightly. It's quite a good position, this one, because you can actually get good shots on the tanks as they go through the buildings. Some arties like to line up and hit the enemy who sits on the far east side of the map on the roundabout. Oh, that one he hit the Super Conk and the 50 TP. The shell actually landed on the 50 TP, but the Super Conk took quite a lot of damage as well as that bomber flies in and crashes into the ground. So he's just under 1,000 hit points of damage already with only 2 shots. 50 TP's a bit reluctant to come out from behind that cover, but the M103 is just on that corner. Oh, now he might be able to fire through the window. His near miss on the M103 splashed him for 223, but he might be able to fire through the window on the Super Conk and the 50 TP over to the left. There's also a Conqueror a little further back, hanging back at the moment. That'd be quite fun to hit that guy, to actually say to him, what, if you hang back and stay at the back, you might get hit just as much as if you were sitting at the front with your teammates. He's going for the M103 again, but no, changes his mind, goes for the Conqueror, but unfortunately the Conqueror doesn't move forward far enough. So he's not doing so great on damage at the moment. 2 shells, a bit short on the target, one of them not doing any damage at all. Ah, now they're bunching up. This should make it fun, because the next shot should actually hit more than one tank at the same time. But a Conqueror and a Super Conqueror, if he can lob the shell into that corner, rounds out. Yes, he does get damage on both of them, and the Conqueror took the most out of that one. And he's, well, 2/3 of the way through his target. So the target SPG 14 is to stun enemy vehicles for 200 seconds and cause 1,000 hit points of damages to enemy tanks immobilized by him. And he wants to complete it with honours as well. Rounds out on the Conqueror. Direct hit for 349. He's now 2/3 of the way through his damage total. Now the honours means he has to win the battle as well. So, yep, it's still early doors on the win. See if our M103 can get some stun assist or damage assist for us. We're almost ready to shoot. He's marked the target, so he's about to fire, letting the M103 know that his shell's going in. It goes long, but it still stuns the Conqueror, who's going to take some damage. And he has picked up stun assist. Now he's looking at those other targets. The 2684, the Bobject, just got hit by the T62A, who should get the flock out of there, because if he stays around, he's going to get a 152mm shell into him. And yeah, the Bobject's going for it. Okay, fires a round in. Direct hit on the object. And the T-60... No, it was a Waffenträger who got the kill. Would you believe that? A Waffenträger's up on the hill. And the T-62 spotted for them. And the Waffenträger took out the target. But unfortunately, our Waffenträger got taken out by the enemy Conqueror. Or did he? No, our Conqueror killed their Waffenträger. I'm getting it all mixed up. Okay, over on the west side of the battlefield, we've got an M48 and a T54. It's a tier 10 battle with tier 8, is it 8 or no, tier 9 tanks. And he goes for the T54 and gets a direct hit for 364. He's, well, most of the way there, 4/5 of the way through his damage total now. But he's still about halfway through his damage total. He's actually, or rather, no, he's 4/5 of the way through his stun total, but only about halfway through his damage total. Sorry, I get it right. He's loaded. Line it up. Rounds out the T54. Well, he pulled away and we didn't see what happened to that shell, and that means he didn't get any information. But it appears from the totals that no, it hasn't done any damage at all, that shot. He really needs to be aiming at enemy tanks where they are engaged with our teammates so he can do some damage. And that 50 TP and possibly the T55A nearby are much more likely candidate for that. And in fact, he suddenly noticed that. And the M103's pulled back, but the T55A is engaging him and he's lost a fair number of hit points. And he's moved away to the M48, which is not under fire from our guys at the moment. There's a standard B nearby, but he's trying to fend off an EBR 105. He fires at the M48 and stuns him, but doesn't get any damage. Now, often we say in these battles that you must read the instructions on the tin, and yeah, the instructions are you must do damage to the enemy which immobilizes them and allows your teammates to do damage to them whilst they're immobilized. And ideally he would do that to tanks which are in sight of our teammates. He's loaded. Oh, the M48 is pulling away now, so he might be able to track this guy, and if he does, then our standard B might be able to get the damage for us. He fires the round in, a bit late, but he has picked up some stun assists there. So that's a little closer to his total. We've killed all the tanks in the city. And now it's just the tanks over on the west side. There's a Leopard 1 somewhere in the north, but the FV4005 hasn't found him. So I suspect he's over on the west side now. Okay, we're going for the tanks hiding behind the house, the ruined house. Rounds out the T50. Okay, he's completed the stun. And the Skoda goes down. But he still hasn't completed his damage total. So he's not quite there yet. There's the M48 pattern. He's fallen back quite some distance away. Possibly so he could use the ridge lines to protect himself. Okay, he's lined up, rounds out. Oh, is he going to move back into the fall of shot? Well, near miss for 308. Looks like he's tracked. No, he wasn't tracked. He's moving again. He switched over to the FV4005, who's near the cap area. Now, can he get some damage on this guy? It's got one round of standard HE left. And looks like the FV4005 is trying to get away from our guys. He fires ahead of a shell ahead of his path. Oh, no, that was a good one. He actually did hit it, but didn't get any damage assist off that one. He splashed it just before it was killed. So there's only 3 enemies left. He's still got a fair amount of damage assist to get. Our guys are starting to cap. And there's the Leopard on the hill. And an M48 Patton's turned up. There you go. There he is. He's gone. Which means there's only one enemy left. And that is the FV3805. He fires around in near him. Oh, and he gets the kill. But did he get enough damage assist in that game to actually get the past the mission? Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Well, it did actually. It wasn't it wasn't damage that was actually spotted during the game, because of course he kept pulling away after he'd fired, and he did fire a few shots which were blind basically. He actually managed to get SPG 14 with honours, so he completed both tasks. And he picked up an ace tanker in the M53, M55. Got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 17. A Gore's medal for doing more damage than 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. And of course he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate on that battle was 4,171. If we look at the team score, we can see that he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the M103 on his team, who got a high caliber for 5,374 hit points. Then the TVP managed 4,848, and then the Leopard 1 on the enemy team managed 4,073, whilst Lomian managed to get 3,952 hit points. When it came to kills, it was the TVP who did the worst, with 5, oh, the best actually, 5 kills. 4 kills went to the Leopard on the enemy team, and then 2 kills the M103 and T62A on his own team. I'm afraid he only managed to get the 1 kill in that game, but of the other players on the enemy team, after the Leopard 1 getting 4 kills, only 3 players actually managed to get a kill at all, and they only got 1 kill each. When it came to base XP, it was the M103 who did the best with 1,326, then came Lomian with 1,223, and finally the TVP with 1,150. He fired 16 rounds, got 5 direct hits and no penetrations but 17 splash. Damage of 3,952 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 1, did 428 hit points of damage assistance in that game, and 2,442 hit points of stun assist of 16 stuns. So maybe the stun assist actually counted towards the total that allowed him to pass with honours. I think actually it was either or you had to do on the damage and the stun assist, and he did the stun rather than the damage, and that's probably what I got wrong in that case. 63,131 credits on a premium count, and after ammunition resupply took away 27,081 credits. He received 1,834 XP, got ×2 for the first victory, took away 3,669 experience points altogether. So very nice for Lomian to get SPG 14 with honours for the Object 260. Now he's going to get the SPG 15, even more difficult, but for some players it's easier than others. I think Arty players tend to pass these missions fairly easily because we're Arty experts and we know how to do it. It's much more difficult for your average tank driver because he thinks getting into an Arty is all about just clicking on the enemy. No, it's a lot more complicated than that. You actually have to be a student of watching how an enemy tank behaves and then learn to predict exactly what it's going to do next and put the shell in the right spot to actually do the damage. That's how difficult it is. And you see, tank drivers don't understand that, but it's being able to predict what the enemy will do means that you will be able to do lots of damage to them and catch them unawares, especially if they happen to be moving between buildings, or even if they happen to be moving at full speed across the battlefield. Being able to lay a shell in their path with a few seconds ahead of them actually being hit, and then walking straight into a shell in the process. Yes, that is very satisfactory for an Arty player to be able to take an enemy out at long range when they're moving at full speed. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, please. And thanks for watching.